Hi kids, it's Mrs. Davis here in my writing workshop space, and I've got my handy dandy pencil, my crayons, and my book that I have been working on for a while. Now, on the last session of writing workshop, we had worked on one page. I had worked on page 11 with you using my good writing skills, going from left to right, capitalizing at the beginning of sentences, putting my punctuation in, and when I needed to, I was also using my sound spelling, which is okay if you don't know how to spell something. Hey, you're just in first grade. So the last part of this was where the two characters had went in for some lunch. So I'm going to be putting Cosmos upstairs because you know how he invisibly got in, and then I'm going to put Hank downstairs smelling Mom's delicious chicken noodle soup. So what I did was I really worked hard in the last couple of days. If I'm asking you to write at home, then I also want to be doing my writing, because writing is, well, I don't know, I love writing. So I think practicing it every day is really helpful and important, and it just helps you build up the amount of time that you're able to spend on writing, the more you practice it. And that's with any life skill, right? So I went ahead and actually finished the book. I wrote actually 18 pages. I got to page 18. I've got my cover. I've got my dedication page. So that's actually 20 pages. Wow, that's some good writing. I'm going to go ahead and read what I wrote. I haven't finished my illustrations. That's something I have to work on as time goes on. All right, let's get started, and I will read you the rest of my book. The two friends ate lunch and warmed up a bit. They put all their gear back on. Oh, I noticed when I was reading this that I actually put the word "these." So I'm going to fix that. And that's one thing we've talked about before. When you are writing and you go back and reread, sometimes you can fix those mistakes you make. They put all their gear back on to continue the fun. Again, I want to focus on the snow fun, not so much on the eating. Zap! Cosmos was instantly outdoors. Hank blazed out the back door. Instead of ran, I said blazed. His scarf, I can just view this, his scarf was dragging behind him as he dashed to find. Again, I want to use those, you know, really interesting and different words, not the same boring words. Cosmos. Hank was ready to show him how to build a snowman. I know when it snows, that's like one of the first things I want to do. And so Hank is definitely going to show Cosmos all about building. Do you want to build a snowman? Hank, I just couldn't resist that. Hank modeled how to roll the snow into a sphere. Instead of a ball, I'm using, again, a word that's a little bit different, but means a round ball shape. The snow was perfect for packing, and the two friends worked together to roll 3 round balls, small, medium, and large. They carefully stacked them on top of each other. Now it was time to design the snow creation. And I was making a list, so instead of writing and, I used that little handy punctuation, comma. When you're making a list, you can have, it's a little period dot. I think we have talked about this before. It's a little period dot with a little curly, it reminds me of a macaroni noodle. And you just can separate your list of items. A hat, scarf, stick arms, acorn eyes, a cherry nose, and tiny pebbles for the mouth. A big smile was the shape they placed on the snowman. Hank explained to Cosmos that they needed to do one final thing. Give it a name, of course. He wanted Cosmos to do it. This made Cosmos feel happy. He scratched his fuzzy head. Can you just picture him scratching that fuzzy green stuff on top? And then he blurted out, Jupiter, you know, since we've been talking about the solar system. And Cosmos is from the solar system. That just made sense to me. Oh, his favorite planet in the solar system was Jupiter, so that would be the name. Suddenly, Hank fell down, splat. Cosmos was alarmed. Now this idea came from Carson. He sent me in that he thought the two friends should make snow angels, so I included that. Thanks, Carson, for that idea. Cosmos was alarmed and worried, but then he saw Hank moving his arms and legs in a sweeping motion. Snow was flying up from the ground. Can you just picture that? And Hank was laughing. He yelled, "Snow angels!" And Cosmos joined him, and they both formed amazing angel figures. It was getting late, and the sun was starting to go down. You know, it's the end of the day. Hank wanted Cosmos to experience one more snow activity. Can you guess what it is? Ice skating. We can't forget ice skating. Ice skating is nice skating. He grabbed Cosmos by his alien hand, and this is just the shape of those snow angels and the feet that are walking away and going toward it. They raced to the park. Cosmos could not believe his space alien eyes. There before him was a silver sheet of ice. He was impressed with this sparkling rink. Hank rented two, and I use TWO here, talking about the number two sets of skates. He had to help Cosmos lace them up because his alien hands only had two parts. Again, I used TWO. Cosmos wobbled over to the ice and slowly, and I kind of just separated the words in slowly, stepped onto the surface. Soon he got his balance, and Hank showed him how to glide smoothly on the ice. The two friends zigged and zagged until the sun went down. They turned in their skates and made their way back to Hank's house. Now it was time for Cosmos to zoom back to his planet. Hank was sad to see Cosmos go, but they agreed to meet again one day soon. Now, when I'm thinking about my story, I have to include a good beginning. I'm thinking about that hamburger illustration that we used to talk about. So we had our beginning, right? You have to have a good beginning. And then in between the beginning is the middle of the story. That's the best part. That's where all the details are. The juicy part of the hamburger is in between those two buns. We've got the layers of detail. So the middle part of your story is the biggest. We've got the hamburger meat, the cheese, the lettuce, the onion, layers and layers of goodness. Don't forget those tomato details, pickles, secret sauce, ketchup, you name it. So the middle part of your story is going to be the longest part with the most details. And that's the best part of the story. It's just like a hamburger. You don't want to just eat the buns. You want to include those delicious parts to your hamburger, and that's the way it is with the story. So now I'm going to read to you the end of my story, which we think about when we're thinking about our hamburger illustration. It's the bottom bun. You can't leave a story without a closure or everything falls to the ground. So here we go. Here's the end of the story. Last page. That night, Hank stared into space from his window. It kind of ends the way it started, with Hank looking out the window. He gazed at the stars as he sipped some hot chocolate. And there among them, he saw the flashing red lights of Cosmos's spacecraft. He knew that it was Cosmos letting him know that he was almost home. Hank smiled and got settled into bed. Soon he was fast asleep, dreaming about the fun snow day. Oh, I'm really happy with the way that the story turned out. Now, I had to unstaple all my pages. I'm going to staple that back together. But I really feel good about completing the writing portion of my story. I stayed on my topic. I worked on this for several writing sessions, because that's how a good book has to be built. It's not just written in one day. So be encouraged if you're working on a book. Just take your time and add those details and make it a good one. Now, on our next session, I'm going to show you something really exciting. I am starting to transfer this story to my device in Google Slides. That's right, I'm creating an ebook, and I'm gonna let you help me add this story to the computer, to Google Slides, and we're gonna create a digital copy of Hank and Cosmos and the Fun Snow Day. I want to take you through this journey of creating a digital book. Number one, so you can actually read the story at home, the complete book. And number two, so that you can take a book that you're working on and turn it into an ebook, a digital book. It's really an exciting adventure. I can't wait for us to work together on transferring this story into Google Slides. All right, writers and illustrators, until next time, keep up the good work and keep on writing. I'll see you soon. Have a good one.